Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's wealthmanagement.com webinar, FMG's Top 5 Marketing Predictions for 2024. This webinar is sponsored by FMG. My name is David Lennick, and I'm the Senior Wealth Planning Editor for wealthmanagement.com, and I'll be your host today. In a moment, I'll be turning things over to our speakers, but first, let me explain how you can get the most out of this event. To improve your viewing and listening experience, you can move your webcast windows around by dragging on the title bar, or resize them by clicking on their lower right-hand corner. At the bottom of your screen, you'll find multiple application widgets. Clicking on these icons will allow you to open and close widgets on your screen, but will not remove you from the event. A copy of today's slide presentation, as well as a link to a replay of today's presentation, will be available in a follow-up email the presenters will send out. Please note this webinar has been accepted for 1 CE credit hour towards the AEP designation program. Investments and Wealth Institute has accepted this program for 1 hour of CE credit towards the CIMA, CPWA, CIMC, and RMA certifications. Instructions for credit submittal are available in the resource list widget. We welcome questions about our topic, and we'll answer as many as we can following the presentation. But feel free to submit yours to the queue at any time. Just type it into the Q&A window on the left-hand side of your screen and hit the submit button. Please be aware that today's session is being recorded and will be available for on-demand viewing following the event today. Now, let me introduce today's speakers. First, we have Susan Theder. She's the Chief Marketing and Experience Officer at FMG. And joining Susan, we have Michael Murray, President of Peabody Wealth Advisors, and Amy Galley, Vice President of Product Marketing at FMG. You can find out more information about our speakers by clicking on the Speaker Bio widget at the bottom of your screen. With that, let's get started. Susan, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. And we are right at the top of the hour. Thank you all so much for joining us. I can't believe we're in December and we're going to blink and it's going to be the end of the year. And with that, it's a perfect time for us to talk about what are the key themes for marketing in 2024. And our team gave us a lot of thought, and we thought about whether we would just share little tips or ideas, and we all just kind of collaborated on the idea that there's some themes, and they're not brand new themes that you've never heard before, but they are really important themes that I think should play a priority in your planning for 2024. And we thought, what a great idea to bring that to you, but also to have a conversation with a very top successful advisor about how he is implementing and has already been working on some of these themes. I'm Susan Theder. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the Chief Marketing Officer, as David said, at FMG, and I would love to connect with you. So feel free to shoot me a connection request, a message, and we'll definitely keep a conversation going. I am thrilled to have Amy Galley, who is my partner in crime at FMG. She's going to do some screen sharing and help us with the FAQ, or with the questions that come in. And the star of the show really is Mike Murray, who is the president and founder of Peabody Wealth Advisors. And I'm going to let him just give a quick intro before we get started.
Susan, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. So I'm Mike Murray. I'm the president of Peabody Wealth Advisors. We're based in Danvers, Massachusetts, which is about 20 minutes north of Boston. I've been in the industry since 2000. We work with generally individuals, families, and business owners, helping them with financial planning needs, all the investment management, and then most of our business either comes from our existing clients, attorneys, CPAs, or through social media marketing, which I love talking about marketing. It's the most fun part of the job.
I love that. I'm not sure everybody on the webinar would agree with you, which might be why they're joining. But what I also like about Mike is, we've had speakers join us that have particular niches or talk about, some unique strategy that's really interesting. But I think all of you can see your businesses. Most of you, I would hope, can see yourselves in Mike's business. He comes from a perspective that I think is very typical. And so I think his advice will be extremely useful. So our top marketing themes for, oh, there's the dog saying hi. Our top marketing themes for 2024. Sorry. The first is words matter. And we'll talk a little bit more about this, but this is something that I think is becoming more and more important. And 2024 is the time where I am hoping all of you will really put this into action. Also, capturing money in motion, not a new idea, but something that I think you should be more deliberate and intentional about in 2024. Thinking about marketing's role in driving the value of your business. You may or may not have really thought about the connection of your marketing efforts to your ultimate valuation. And so I want to draw some connections there. And of course, have to talk about AI. I think it is magical, but I do not think it is a magic wand. And then the last theme, which I think everybody can relate to, is the threat of time poverty. And this is a phrase that was coined by Michael Kitces. And I know everybody is nodding, feeling that they have time poverty. And so we're going to talk a little bit about how to alleviate that while achieving your objectives, especially as it relates to these marketing themes. So I'm going to start with words matter. And here's a stat that I think is very, very telling. Hopefully I'm getting nods from all of you, but a survey that was done by Bank of New York, Mellon Pershing, showed that over 60% of investors feel that financial advisors all sound the same. And I wish I could see you all, whether you're nodding or saying that doesn't make sense, but to me, I think it does make sense. We see a lot of advisors' websites, we see a lot of advisors' marketing, and it is hard to differentiate. And I agree it's a challenge, but it's something that I think words, obviously, can make a big difference. This is one of my favorite slides. Anybody who has joined any of our webinars before may have seen this before, but it is worth repeating. So look at this chart. This is Advisorpedia. On the right, you will see a list of the services that investors expect from their financial advisor. And then you will see two bars. One is the service that they expect, the percentage that they, of those people that expect that from their financial advisor. And the blue is a bar indicating whether they believe they are receiving that service. What's interesting is you'll see all the way down to the bottom, basically investors want this whole list. I mean, it's 80%, when you get 3/4 of the way down. They want all of these services, but they only believe that they are receiving financial planning and investment management. And what I think that tells us is that the words you're using and communication really matters in terms of what they perceive you delivering and how they can perceive differentiation between you and the advisor, down the street. So thinking about the fact that they are looking for all of these services, these are in some ways giving you the topics that we think you should be focusing on. You are probably providing all of these services today, but perhaps you're not doing the best job of articulating it, highlighting it, and I think also very important, and Mike and I are going to talk about this, framing it in a way that has high EQ or leveraging behavioral science. And I'm going to show you some examples. So emotional intelligence is huge as it relates to differentiating yourself, articulating what you do in terms that make the greatest impact on the end client, and also in generating business. So these are just some examples. So many of you talk about how you help clients save for retirement, or thinking on the slide before, financial planning and investment management. Those are words we use a lot. But what if you just framed it slightly differently with a much more higher EQ? I help clients live a retirement where their choices aren't dictated by money. Just as people, reading these two sentences, there's just a huge difference in terms of how that just viscerally impacts us. Think about, we create comprehensive financial plans. I bet many of you have this sentence somewhere on your website. Instead, I would suggest I create roadmaps to help clients rest easy, knowing they're on track. It is a simple difference, but instead of using the words financial planning, you're talking about what financial planning does, the emotional outcome that a financial plan gives to the client. And the last one, we make sure clients have adequate insurance coverage. Insurance planning is something that many of you do. we help clients identify solutions that protect what they value most. So again, you're still hitting on some of these key services that you provide, but you're just flipping the words to be more about the emotional outcome that the client is seeking. So these are some suggestions. I'm going to end with this slide for this section. Clients are 50% more likely to choose an advisor for emotional reasons versus financial, which says that they're 50%. I mean, it's equal. But I don't know if all of you are really thinking about the fact that that emotional quotient plays such a big part in their decision. And there's surveys have been done that show that advisors with a high EQ, which I believe translates into using these behavioral finance types terms, are 2 times more likely to receive referrals. So I think my message is words matter, and thinking about how to ensure that you're talking about all the services that you provide so that you're hitting on all the things that the clients are looking for, but putting them in the words that translate to what matters to them. So now I am going to hand it over to Mike. What do you think about all this, and how does this translate into what you do with your business and what you're thinking of even maybe doing more or less of in 2024?
Yeah, I mean, I think our key has always been about speaking to our audience, not about us. Like when we worked with FMG to design our website or redesign our website, our original website was about long words, lots of paragraphs talking about ourselves, where we completely redesigned our website to talk directly to the client and make it about them. And I think a lot of times,
you know what?
That's where.
Can we pull up your website while you're talking?
Sure, absolutely.
Let's do that. Amy, I'd love to have Mike steer us around his website so he can show some of this in real life. Great. Okay. Can you go to the homepage, Amy?
I am on the homepage. Are you seeing his website?
Yeah, but I think that might be the about section.
Oh, here we go.
Awesome. All
Thank
right.
you. Yes.
Back to, because I love this picture. All right, back to you, Mike. So talk to us about how you've implemented that on your website.
So it's really about talking to most of our clients are pre-retirees and retirees. So we're talking to them about a lifestyle, and it's really about what money can do for them versus, how many websites have you seen where it has the financial advisor standing around in a conference room with their arms crossed, and the first thing you say on the website is about us. And,
yes,
we thought it the entire different way. Let's make it about the reader, because the reader cares about what's in it for them, not about us. So that imagery is important.
So good. I'm going to pause because I actually haven't heard maybe that phrase so succinctly put, which is, and I'm going to ask you to say it again. Hopefully I can paraphrase, but you said something about what the reader is what the visitor is hoping to get from their money, or how did you phrase that? I really liked that.
They're just trying to create a visual, what they may envision their retirement to be, and
exactly
what's in it for them to work with us versus, why we should work with them. I think we kind of flipped the script on a lot of how these websites have been designed, in the past.
Yeah, I love that. So Amy, scroll down a little bit. So we plan so you can dream. I mean, I think again, that really has a high emotional quotient. So pause here. I love this. So I I do think people like to feel part of a family. And here you've done an interesting thing throughout your website, and we'll see this as we go, but you've put words in that teal or that blue that matches with the CTA button. And talk a little bit about the words that you're highlighting and why you used family and how clients have reacted to that.
Because we really do consider clients as part of the Peabody Wealth Advisors family, and we want a partnership with client. We want people to feel that we're working as a team to achieve their goals, And we put that in everything we do, whether we meet with a client in person, via Zoom. I mean, our clients come and they hug us at events. We have a strong relationship with our clients. And that's what clients are willing to pay a premium for, is the relationship.
Everybody on this call has that, but may not be using the words that communicate that on their website and in their marketing. So let's click on learn more about who we help. There are parts of this page. I'd love you to talk about this next page. If you scroll down, Amy, keep going a little bit.
Who doesn't love a dog in a backpack?
Oh yeah, go back, show that. So talk a little bit about how, we'll start with the picture and then we'll go down to that next section. How did you pick, what was your strategy with your imagery?
So my wife is our marketing manager. So a lot of this she helped kind of with the imagery, and we wanted to just create a feeling of when people go to our website, they smile and they're happy because that's who our clients are. And something like this, people can picture going out hiking or being active in the outdoors and maybe walking with their dog.
I love it. I love it. And here again, the word unique is in that blue font, which really makes it pop. And here's an example of, of course, clients want to feel like they are special and that you are delivering advice that is tailored specifically to them, right? And those are words we see a lot. But by phrasing it this way, we'll learn what makes you unique. Just a really powerful way of conveying that message in a way, so first it's showing that you're going to take the time to learn about me and you're going to see what's unique about me. It's a little, a little variation on we customize our approach. We'll learn what makes you unique. Just two different ways of saying the same thing, but this works so well. And then one thing I'm also going to point out is that contact us button is always, this is not really necessarily the words matter, but a best practice on websites. The contact us button is highlighted at the top and the schedule an appointment is at the bottom. So that's persistent and that really helps with conversions. So let's go down to this next section, which I love because again, you have framed it not about what services, what we do. You've positioned it as how will I know if I'm a good fit? I think if I ask everybody on the webinar to look at their website and see whether they use the word I anywhere, and if not, think about it. So how did you come up with this, and tell us about this little section?
Well, I think we really wanted to, we looked at the common characteristics across our platinum clients, and all of them fit these 5 criteria. And so we said, how do we communicate this? But it also serves as a pre-screening tool, because someone may say this and say, hey, I like to spend money like wildfire. They may not be a client for us. So it's a screening tool as well.
Yeah.
But I prefer to delegate to a financial professional. I want to do it all myself. Then maybe you're not a good fit.
Exactly. And being okay with that. Which one, Eve?
I said I love this last one. I like to surround myself with good people. You don't see it.
And not something that I think is totally obvious to everyone that is financial advisors building a website. But this is just a great idea for a way to articulate again what your ideal clients come to you for and their characteristics. Great idea. All right, I'm going to keep us moving along, but the last one I want to hit on is, again, this is another one. It sounds like you in the blue text, just a lot of yous and I's and things that put it in the voice of the what's in it for the client and or prospect. Let's go to contact us quickly. Tell me about this page and then we'll move on to our next theme. I just love this one.
So we found this picture on one of the picture websites, and we just loved it. And there was a big debate whether we would actually use that. And this is where I used some executive authority and said, if someone doesn't like a picture of a pug driving a boat, they're not our client. So,
And have you had prospects? Has anybody mentioned this page to you? When
oh,
like prospects that
absolutely.
have
Yeah.
come
People
in?
said, oh, I saw that and I smiled. And that's really the point. And it kind of takes the, I think the fear of going to talk to a financial advisor out of the first time. We promise we won't bite. Because I think a lot of times people come into the relationship with preconceived notions that that are negative.
Absolutely. And let's make finances less daunting. The word let's is really a great word to use. It has a casualness, but also obviously a collaborative. And then you've got your form. So I'm going to segue off of words matter and more and leave you with a lot of great ideas here that both words and actually words and imagery matter. Okay, so I'm going to go back and take over the slides here. All right, so Amy, if you'll stop sharing, I'm going to move to our second theme, which is capturing money in motion. Okay, everybody's nodding. You've seen this before. There is a huge opportunity to capture the great wealth transfer, and you've seen this number, 68 trillion. But what is the opportunity for you in 2024? Well, also not brand new, but if you are going to appeal to anybody under the age of 75, you must have a very modern, compelling website. 98% of consumers say a website is an important factor in choosing an advisor. 36% of consumers, this was an eMoney study, work with an advisor they follow on social media. It is becoming not even more and more important. It's becoming imperative to have a constant, an updated, fresh, constantly sort of freshened. Like if you have a website that you don't change from year to year, then that's also an opportunity. And also to be on social media. Something else that is relevant to capturing this great wealth transfer is educational content. And of course, where would you share educational content? On your website, in social, and also through email, sharing it with clients and prospects. 63% of consumers, again, the eMoney survey, believe that informative educational content would make you stand out. Back to that, how are you going to differentiate? Words matter and educational content matters. And I really thought this was compelling on the left. If you look at this graph, how interested are you in financial education and building your knowledge? Look at the silent generation, not very. I mean, 60%, but 44% are somewhat interested. It moves up to 80% for the boomers. And then when you get to Gen X and millennials, it's 96%. And that is where the great wealth transfer is going. So thinking about how you can use educational content, both on your website, in social, and in email, is going to be a huge lever in helping you generate both referrals and also be seen and show yourself apart from other advisors. The last way to differentiate yourself and attract money in motion, because money in motion is, of course, yes, when parents, grandparents have passed away, but also there is money in motion in divorce. There's money in motion in the sale of a business. We all know that. And what is the one professional who is involved in all of those things? It's attorneys. So this was a GIF, but I wasn't able to get the GIF in there, but it's very funny. I would like an attorney. So with this, I'm going to segue to Mike again. When you think about, money in motion, I've mentioned educational content, websites, social, and attorneys. Talk to us about how all this plays a role in your business and anything that you've learned and or are thinking about for 2024.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it right on the head with the attorneys. I mean, they are our primary professional center of influence for our firm. Building relationships, like any other relationships, I mean, they take time. That is definitely the longer game. But providing educational content to them, I think I use LinkedIn as a primary tool. If I see an article in the Wall Street Journal that is specific to changes in divorce law or changes to estate law, I'll put it on LinkedIn, or I may tag it to the estate planning group in LinkedIn. Or we do a lot of blogs as well, where we'll bring a professional in. Like I have one attorney that specializes in AI, which we're going to get to soon, and have a chance for them to showcase their knowledge. And we'll share it on our blog. We'll cross promote it with their firm. That gives them exposure to our clients and our followers. It gives us exposure to their clients and followers who may not be the same. So it's just a way to kind of cross pollinate the relationships.
And what have been some, what's worked best, lessons learned over the years as you've tried to create these relationships? We all know it takes time, but any tips that you'd give to the audience?
Attorneys are busy people just like we are. They want to make their life easier, and they want to know if they refer you business that it's going to be executed fairly, and the client's never going to come back to them and have an issue. So building that level of trust with them is paramount to getting the referrals from them. I mean, that is often doing things that may not make you a whole lot of money, but it shows that you are an advocate for them and for their clients. So really putting time back in their life.
It's less about being a referral source to them, or does that motivate as well?
Some of them, some would like mutual referrals, of course, it's good for business, but a lot of them just want to make sure that their clients are taken care of. And as long as they're taken care of, that makes them look good, because they don't have to worry when they're referring that they're going to come back a year later saying, why'd you refer me this person?
Yeah, that is a great point. I just wrote, our team was writing emails that advisors could use to kind of open doors with centers of influence, including attorneys and all these different types of attorneys. And the angle is really just, I tend to come across people with complex situations that are looking, and many of them are looking for, a reference to an estate attorney. I don't have really a go-to referral source. I wondered if you were accepting clients. And I think that could work, but I think adding in language that, relates to just the level of care and, because you're right, it's especially like CPAs, they're just very concerned that you just don't mess it up, don't make them look bad. But when it comes to educational content, is that something you prioritize? And do you, what's your thought? I mean, have you always been like, I'm going to do educational content because I know the next gen really likes it and it's good for social? Or has that sort of been by mistake and now you're thinking about it more intentionally?
Yeah, I think it would be more that I would put information out, but I found over the years, especially on LinkedIn, that certain articles drive a ton more traffic to you. And it's a lot of times it's kind of hit or miss. Sometimes I'll put an article out that I think it's a fantastic article and I get, 100 views. And then other ones, I put one out about a car leasing versus buy, or the average car payment was over $1,000. There were 45,000. You just don't know what you're putting out there. But I think the whole mindset is always putting stuff out there that's helpful to your audience.
Yes, I love that. And, if you don't get hits, you don't take it personally and say, oh, I tried this tactic, I'm out. It's consistency. And I think that's something that you've really demonstrated. All right, shall we go on to number 3? Let marketing drive up the value of your business. So this is interesting. I did some research and I don't think anybody's going to be terribly surprised, but just if you had to put together the top drivers of the value of your business, I believe this captures them. I'm not a business valuation specialist, but it's your reputation and market position, the client base characteristics, growth prospects, retention, processes, systematized processes, recurring revenue, obviously clean risk, and scale and diversification of services. Mike, would you agree with these? Anything I'm missing?
Absolutely.
And
Early in my career, talking to practice management specialists, they always said if you don't have systems in place, it could take up to 15% of the value of your business off when you try to sell it. So marketing is part of those systems, just as a CRM is, just as financial planning software. If you're going to sell your practice, someone wants to be able to walk in turnkey and take it over day one. And they're going to discount what they pay you if your stuff's a mess. You have no strategy.
Exactly. So as I looked at all of these, and I had a hypothesis, I believe marketing is a key value of business valuation. But when I put these down and I thought, okay, which ones of these are really driven by marketing? It's more than half of them. I mean, about 60% of these are all or very, heavily dominated by marketing. Obviously, systematized processes goes way beyond marketing, but it does play a key role, and it is increasingly something that I think buyers are looking at. But focusing your marketing, having a marketing plan, and ultimately, I think everybody is looking to grow the enterprise value of their business. Thinking about and being intentional about focusing your marketing plan to achieve objectives as it relates to each of these is going to be key. And I think if you haven't done it before, 2024 is the time to start. And each of these could be goals that are part of your marketing plan. And this is a slide that I got from a study done by Schwab of comparing their top RAAs to their average. And they broke it out also by AUM. And you'll see that top performing firms with marketing plans grew new client assets nearly twice their peers. And you'll see the breakdown of both its referrals is still the dominating driver. COI referrals, it gets you almost all the way there, but other marketing is starting to play in, like social media, converting from the website. It is a difference maker. So if driving enterprise value is something that's important to you, in 2024, I highly suggest that you build a marketing plan, that you think about the drivers of enterprise value as it relates to marketing. You establish key tactics to accomplish each of these and work towards. You can't change your client base characteristics overnight, but you can work towards it as you implement some of the ideas we had as it relates to money in motion. All right, let's see. So are you doing anything differently in 2024, Mike, as it relates to, intentionally thinking about driving business, the levers that increase your business valuation? Are you going to do anything different than you did in 2023?
I think we're just going to continue on the effort that we're doing. It's all about consistency, and it's about getting your message out. And really, you just mentioned it earlier, whatever message you want to portray, just start saying it. If you go to, networking events or go to the Chamber of Commerce, start saying your message. Here's who we work with. And maybe in the beginning, people aren't going to take to it right away, but maybe 6 months, a year, they will start to identify that this is the person to refer you to. And I did that years ago, and just that's who they think of when attorneys or CPAs think of referrals. I've set that message in their mind. This is who we help.
How have you honed? Tell us your elevator pitch.
So we say we work with clients from 5 to 5, $500,000 to $5 million in investable assets. So when referrals come, even if they're slightly below that, they'll say, oh my God, I'm so sorry, you probably won't take this person, but they have a little less than 500,000. But they have that built in their mind that someone in that slot is going to be a fit for our practice.
And how do you differentiate? How do you help them understand how you're different? What makes you different?
Because we approach it like we are the Four Seasons. Our job is to make our clients' lives easier. And we talk to them about money comes into the conversation, but it's more about their lifestyle. It's more about helping people with outcomes versus the mechanics of it. Because Much like if you go to a doctor, you don't care how your doctor knows how to do a surgery. You care that he knows how to do it correctly. Much like people don't hire financial advisors or planners because they want to know the nuts and bolts about what we do.
Totally. That is so true. It's that I love the analogy of the doctor. We just want to be cured, have the surgery go well. The outcome is, if I have a broken leg and I'm getting a surgery, I want to walk as fast as possible. So that, I think that helps people frame that. And I was going to ask one other question on tell us about how you have systematized your marketing processes. Any suggestions for people? Do you have a monthly marketing content calendar? How have you systematized it?
So as I mentioned earlier, my wife's our marketing manager. So we have scheduled posts, and then I will post. I make an effort to post at least 2 to 3 articles a week, whether it be it's usually through LinkedIn, and then we'll try to do at least a blog a month with other professionals in our network. And I would suggest that you consider doing blogs. Make sure that the person you're blogging with has some followers, because if they have 1 follower, it's not going to do you a whole lot of good blogging with them, because it's only going to go out to your folks. So I would look when considering someone on social media that they have at least a few hundred followers.
Awesome. All right, let's move to the next very hot, interesting, debated topic. AI is magical, but it is not a magic wand. So I did a couple things. I wanted to first do just an overview of the 3 platforms I use. And obviously this is not all encompassing. There are new ones sprouting up daily. And also every time I update this, the next day it feels out of date. So this may be a couple weeks old. Yeah, I think it already is old. So it's not perfect, but it's directional. So ChatGPT actually just recently announced that its data, its responses were trained on much more recent information. One of the knocks used to be that it was like 2 years old, like through 2021, but it's now up through April 2023. And I think it's probably going to soon be real time. Bard, which is the Google product, is real time. And Claude right now, Anthropic's solution is December 2022. So that's a difference. Uploading attachments. So again, this is changing real time, but 3 months ago, 5 months ago, ChatGPT would cut you off really early. It had very few words. And Claude's differentiator was that you could, attach documents and they could be, a small book. And Bard also was like ChatGPT. It would not take tremendous amounts of data. I have to say now they seem to, I think ChatGPT has upped the number of words, and I think they all now, I haven't really been kicked out for the number of words I've used recently, but Claude would say that they differentiate on the amount of data. They don't do it by words, but that's essentially what it is. And then recent enhancements, ChatGPT, if anybody goes into ChatGPT, it actually shows, I wonder if I can share my screen. I'll share my screen really fast. Let's see if I can do this well. Let's see. Go back here. Sorry for the share, Chrome, ChatGPT. All right, let me know if you guys can see this. Oh, so go here, and if you go on Explore, can you guys see my screen? Can everybody see my screen? Mike, can you see it?
Yes.
I can see it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So I thought this was pretty cool. So I went to, ChatGPT. I go to, that's where you land if anybody's used this, and you type in your message. But here, this little 4 dots, Explore, it now has data analysis, drop in any files, and I can help annualize or visualize your data. So I've tried this, and I put in, responses, email open rates, click-through rates to something, and it created a nice chart for me, which was lovely. A creative writing coach, turned imagination into imagery. But then these get kind of fun. You've got, this is a new one, Santa. I'm Santa, spreading cheer and helping with festive gift ideas. Game time, I can quickly explain board games. creative writing. There's, oh gosh, they've added more and more every time I go in here. Coloring book, laundry buddy, ask me anything about stains, sous chef, I'll give you recipes based on the foods you love, blah, 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 blah. Math, I help parents with math, need a 9 p.m. refresher on geometry. You get the picture. But at any rate, it is, I find this fun and interesting, and it's everything, these are changing constantly. I keep all three open at all times in my browser, and I tend to use them all. So I wanted to show you a couple examples. And what I did is I typed in what provisions of the Secure Act 2.0 that primarily impact high net worth individuals and families are going into effect in 2024. And I wanted to show you the answers and the difference. And my point here is it is magic, but you can't trust any of them exclusively. They are just a start. They generally need to be proofed. They need to be fact checked. They don't always have sources, and they answer differently. So this one, I specifically said what's going into effect in 2024. This is ChatGPT. Its first answer is starting in 2025. And then it talks about the IRA catch-up contributions. So that's good. Then if you look at Bard talks about the Roth catch-up contributions. I kind of liked it. This was easy to read. I thought this was well written. This was helpful. And then Claude talked about something totally different. And it talked about something that started in 2023. So the point is, great source of information, but this is not going to write your blogs for you. You just would not want to trust it. And you certainly can't trust one of them. You need, you're going to have to do a lot of extra work. Sometimes it doesn't, it saves time, but it also can create more work because you've got to proof everything that it's writing. What it's great at, though, and everybody should use it for this, is idea generation. So here's a prompt. I said, I'm a financial advisor. Give me 3 ideas for webinar topics that would likely generate a lot of interest from my clients and prospects in Q1. So we'll send this deck out afterwards. So everybody can use these. So ChatGPT, and so these are similar. You'll see some similarities, but some differences. Navigating market volatility, estate planning for the modern age, advanced tax strategies for high earners, love that. Then you go to Bard, navigating the economic landscape, strategies for growth and preservation, estate planning for the digital age, protecting your legacy. This went into data security, which I think is very important and of interest, and retirement planning, ensuring a secure future. And then you have Claude, making sense of market volatility, tax changes, your bottom line, recession-proof your retirement. So basically you got 9 ideas. They were all different, but they're all good. It's fantastic. It is a magic wand for ideas. But again, that first prompt is never going to be everything. You should ask it a second question. Try the other platforms until you get what you're looking for. So, Mike, I know you use AI. Tell us, what are you using AI for? And what do you think about all this?
I had a great example last week. I had a friend ask me to write them a recommendation for a job. And I totally had a writer's block. And I I copied and pasted the paragraph she sent me. And within seconds, it had a really good story that needed to be customized. And I sent it over. She goes, "Oh my God, this is the nicest thing anyone's ever written." I said, "Well, you're welcome." No, but it was pretty amazing. So, I think you're right on with it's the trust but verify. This is the ultimate example of not just using AI and sending something out blindly because it could come back and haunt you. But it continues to get better. It does. As the machines are learning, it gets easier and easier. But marketing and correspondence, it works pretty well for. Yeah.
And I got a couple questions. The ChatGPT version that I showed you is $20 a month. So just like, 2 trips to Starbucks. And Claude and Bard, I'm in the free versions. So, they're basically free. And I think I'll summarize this section by saying there's absolutely no downside to using these platforms for idea generation. I just used them today to think about blog topics. And I was trying to come up with ideas around what are the what are the sunsetting of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, what are the implications to small business owners? And I had to ask it like 3 or 4 times to get at what I really wanted. And then it just really gave me enough that I then Googled a bunch of things and netted with some ideas. But it's a great idea generator, ideas for topics, ideas for gifts, ideas for anything. If you're going to use it to write something that has any technical information, it is going to require a lot of fact checking. That is probably not where it's going to be best. If you're asking it to write a letter of recommendation, pretty awesome first draft. So there you go on AI. And we're going to talk a little bit about AI as it relates to the threat of time poverty, which I know gets nods from everybody, including me. So all of you want to own your business, but I think some of you probably feel like at times your business owns you, and that is not what you want. We did a survey, actually with wealth management, and the top activities or marketing tactics to outsource were website, content creation, and social media. And then from there, advertising, SEO, and PR. So I'm going to focus on website, content, and social as things that if you are not currently outsourcing, these can give you tremendous scale in your business. We have a program called Do It For Me Marketing that I'm going to talk about, and advisors who are in that program say that it has freed up 30% of their time, and 95% of advisors from our survey say they have a better work-life balance, which we all want, when they outsource. It's not rocket science, but sometimes it feels hard. This is a time-saving idea. So when we think about outsourcing, this is just a specific idea, and I know Mike uses it, so I'm going to ask him to talk through it. But on FMG's platform, Mike talked about using, sharing interesting articles as a great social media strategy. He's not writing the articles, he's just finding interesting ones, and then he's writing a caption. We have a tool called Curator that's on our mobile app, and you can, just go in there and look for, the latest articles, and it will use AI to write you a caption. And if you don't like it, I'll switch back. We tried to have a video here, but you can see here, write text for me or write your own. And if you clicked that write text for me, then it summarizes the article. It starts with a hook, it ends with a question, it includes hashtags, and it includes the right number of emojis based on LinkedIn's algorithm. So we have tried to influence this. Mike, tell me how you use this, and also just your opinion of outsourcing, what you've outsourced and how that's helped.
Yeah, I love this because it, not only does the writing, it does the emojis, which are great for breaking up a paragraph, making it easier for the reader. This system is fantastic. I've been using this significantly because it saves time. Even if you save 3 to 5 minutes writing a paragraph, extrapolate that over a year or whatever time, it just puts more time back into your life. And as far as outsourcing, I don't know about you, writing the caption is, I dread it. I really it's just, I know I should post. I'm in the same boat as all of you. I don't wake up and be like, oh my God, I want to share what I had for breakfast. I really feel like it's part of my job to be on social and to do it, probably like all of you. And when it got, I might have a good article to share, but then I'm like, ugh, how do I write a great caption? And there's a skill to it. So we have taught our AI, we have our own proprietary version. And I'm curious, how often do you, how often are you asking it to rewrite it versus taking its first draft? And then what percentage of it do you keep versus edit? Would you say it's 90% good, or edit 20%? It's probably 95% because it scans the article very well, but I'll just go through just to make sure there's nothing that's egregiously wrong. But the writing style is good.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, you may just add a few tweaks to make it in your voice. Yes, absolutely.
So you were about to talk about general outsourcing. Tell us, what is the biggest difference for you, and do you agree with website social content?
Absolutely. I mean, we're financial planners. We're not writers. We're not content creators. We're not web developers, most of us. So, early in my career, when people talked about practice management, they basically said, design, figure out what your hourly rate is. And if you're not earning your hourly rate doing an activity, why are you doing it? And that has really been my mindset for not just work, but life. I always use the oil change analogy. I could change my own oil, buy ramps, drain the oil, and then dispose it. Or I could pay someone $50 to change my oil and be done with it. So, not have to maintain the equipment. So I think outsourcing, you make an analysis, and if it's a good use of your time, you do it yourself. If it's not, then there's professionals that do this. You have, FMG, I'll give you a shout out. You have writers on staff. You have developers on staff. That's not what we do for a living. So why, when advisors tell me they're going to design their own website and they don't have the background, I cringe because I know what a project it is.
Yeah, totally. It is a big project, but we do try to make it easier. I do have one question.
Even writing content, when you do the work, is a lot.
It totally is. Somebody just asked what the name of this tool is. This is on the FMG platform. It's on the mobile app as well as the desktop platform. And we call it Curator because it's a whole list of news articles that you can easily, with a swipe of a button, create the caption and then share on social or share through email to your, contact list. So we are getting short on time. I'm going to segue into, should you be interested in outsourcing, we believe that our expertise is showing off yours. Your expertise is serving your clients. And this is how we can help. And I'm just going to fly through these slides pretty quickly. So I do think that for 2024, if you do not have a systematic process for going about addressing these themes, which included words matter, communications really matters, educational content makes a big difference for all of your marketing objectives, but specifically, of course, attracting money in motion and the next generation. Also using AI to develop content and ideas in the right ways, but not leverage it, not thinking it's going to solve everything. And then the valuation of your business, making sure that you are thinking about the things that are going to drive value. So systematizing marketing is huge. And what I would recommend is that you have a monthly set of goals that include blog, email, social media, and surprise and delight wows, because I think those random acts of kindness are the things that may actually drive the most referrals out of all of this. But you do need the blog, email, and social for prospect conversion for sure. So this is a calendar that we put together for our Do It For Me clients. So for those that want to outsource, it is something that we do. And I'm just going to flip through an example of what you get when you're a Do It For Me client. So we send out a marketing calendar every month. We send it out 2 weeks before the beginning of the month. And in it, we map out our email, social, blogs, and automations. And we do a video that highlights the strategy. And then we're also doing timely emails and timely social posts within the month. Some of the content, I'll just show you some of the things, but like Mike said, we're trying to think about what are clients thinking about? What are high net worth clients thinking about? The content is really geared towards high net worth. Senior care, the cost of senior care and long-term care, estate strategy mistakes. Also thinking about things that are just of interest and also relate to finances, like the September effect, a year-end financial checklist. We start with a blog and then we version it for email and social. You'll see here one that was on human interest, AI's role in shaping our tomorrow. We use good imagery. The whole concept is to have it read like you have written it. Those that are writing this have been advisors, know people like Mike, and we've got as close as possible to your voice. But then we give you 2 weeks before that month starts to give us edits, give your own, we encourage you to edit it, customize it, add your own pictures and images, especially in social, because on social, it is good to be social. We will share motivational quotes, recognition, our recognition is up to you, and good deeds. We try to find good deeds. But this is also just a recipe for you, whether you use FMG or any outsourced solution, or you're doing it yourself. Having this systematized process with a calendar and content across all of those categories is really going to pay off. And then, of course, all of that content, especially the blogs, becomes food for your website to keep that fresh. So again, the Do It For Me program could help for those of you that are interested. If you're interested in booking a demo as we get to the end of this webinar, and I love to end a little bit early, please scan this QR code if you're interested in learning more about anything that we've talked about here today, or you can email me at marketing@FMG Suite. Amy and I man that email and are happy to answer questions that we weren't able to get to. And I'm also going to go one more slide. I don't know if any of you have received our emails with our Advent calendar. Mike, have you gotten our Advent calendar?
I have not.
Oh my gosh. All right. You scan the QR code. We did, I think it's so fun. We have an Advent calendar, and every day you'll get an email, and you can also opt out at any time. We have very prominent opt out because we do not want to spam, but it's fun and it's giveaways. We're giving away free swag. We're giving away free websites. We're giving away free consults with me. That's probably like the bummer prize. We're giving away 6 months of the Do It For Me program. And we're just giving away interesting, valuable tips. So we've given some of our Do It For Me content. We've done elf on the shelf ideas. So it's just, it's fun. You open it up, you check the day, and there's something for you. So with that, I am going to bring it to a close. I will leave it on the QR code for booking a demo. And Mike, any closing words for the audience as they head into 2024 and you're going to inspire them to be better marketers?
I don't know if I've ever been called an inspirational speaker, but I think it's the key to marketing is just to really have a strategy and be consistent about it. I think the number one thing that always turned me off in people, some people will have really good content and then they'll just let it slide for months, and then people lose interest. So just coming up with a plan, if you don't have the time or the wherewithal, working with FMG, I mean, we've been doing it for years and we've been very happy with the service that helps us free up our time to do more of what of our financial planning and have lives outside of work. So,
well, I think that's a great way to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining.
I want to thank you too, Stephen.
And your website is just one of my favorites. It is on the homepage of FMG. I think all of you, can get some ideas from that, and we will send the replay as well as the deck, and we'll think about some value add things that we can slide in. Like maybe I'll include the Center of Influence emails that I've written that people could use to open the door with some attorneys, because I think that would be a great step for the beginning of 2024. So I wish everybody a wonderful remainder of the holiday season and a fantastic 2024, and we will be in touch. And thank you so much.